They're amazing.
Dream Crusher!
Don't believe in aliens, they're never going to land. Don't believe in cryptids, they leave footprints in the sand. Don't believe in spirits appearing from the dead. The only demons out there are living in your head. Dream Crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the dream. Can you skip it? We all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing on your dreams. Dream Crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the dream. Can you skip it? We all know what that means.
Hello, everyone! Yay! Welcome to the first, hopefully annual, Skeptical Help Bar Houdini Séance. This is the first one. Hopefully this goes smoothly-ish. I don't know. I'm making this shit up as I go. I really am. So I'd like to start off by saying, obviously we're in a different room, and it's going to get spookier and creepier later on in the show when we actually do the séance. But I'd like to go over the rules first, and I'm going to try and do it from memory because I didn't want to put any frames up because that would cover up most of the people you see in the room. So rule number one is that, well, I encourage you to ask questions, but tonight we might take questions. We might at the end. We'll see, like after the séance. Rule number two is that I don't know everything. Please understand that. And there's a lot of people here, a lot of different backgrounds and education and just a lot of knowledge here, but we still don't know everything. So just keep that in mind if you ask questions. What's rule number three? I totally forgot.
Swayze rule?
Swayze rule, Patrick Swayze rule. Be nice in the comments. Don't make fun of people. Don't make insults. Don't be a dick. That's what I'm saying. All right. Just be nice, have conversations, talk. That's fine. Because if not, Donna is on screen tonight.
So I'm not going to be in the comments, guys,
Right.
and I'm not reading them. So this is really awkward for me.
We got
I
a
have
new
no idea
Tim.
what you guys are saying, and I miss it.
We got a new Tim in control. Tim Binga, our librarian. You know him as Obscure Reference Man.
That's also my handle on Venmo, if anybody's interested.
Nice.
Rule number 4 is my goodness. Oh well, Donald, that's part of number 3, right? You know,
I don't listen to your rules.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Drink up.
Rule number 5.
You
Drink
guys,
up.
You guys know the rules.
Yes. So tonight we're going to talk. Let me go around. We got Tim Binga, we got Paul Paulin, we got Anthony Trecek-King, we got myself, we got Donna, Divine Donna, we got Amy and Vance, we got Melanie Trecek-King, and we got Tim Redmon. That's everyone here. Plus, you're not just going to see us tonight. We have a special guest. You guys have seen him before, and we have John Cox from Wild About Harry. Mike's like, yay! He is like, as far as I'm concerned, you're the foremost expert on Houdini, because everything that I need to know, I go to your site for, and you always have not just one, but like multiple posts about information that you find, and you update it. So really, really happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Happy Halloween, everyone. That's a good-looking crew you got there. I've been to several Houdini seances, and this crew looks serious. You might make contact.
We got some sharp dressers here. You can't see it, but I'm wearing a psychic shirt, so I'm the psychic tonight.
Okay.
And then we have Tim is a man in black, and we have some 1920s people going on.
Yeah.
And then what are you dressed as?
Yeah, woman in mourning.
Woman in mourning.
A
Oh,
grandma.
nice. A grandma. Okay.
An Italian grandma.
Well, Rose Mackenberg used to dress up like that
There you go.
when she went undercover. So I love that. We have a gypsy's fortune teller kind of thing going
I'm
on.
here.
And Vance is dressed up as me.
He's the backup man in black.
There you go. All right.
Isn't it always like the evil guy in Scooby Doo?
I hope so. Yeah, he's got the goatee too. So.
That's right.
I'm the
So-
paper boy.
So the first hour.
Photographer.
All right.
The first hour is going to be mostly discussion about Houdini, building up to the break, and once we go to break, once we come back from the break, it will be a bit spookier in here, and then we will conduct the seance in order to see if we can get Houdini to show up. You can see we have a lot of stuff on the table, but I want to start off first by saying that, oh, hey, Pinky's Art and Music, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. I want to start off by saying that over the last 2 weeks or so since we announced doing this, I've gotten several people that asked about seances, and in particular, everyone makes the point of saying the Fox sisters were the first ones that did it, and they're the ones that started seances and this and that. So I did just a little deep dive, and I wanted to give you guys a little history. That's our first topic, where seances were they weren't called seances prior to the Fox sisters, but there were resemblances of them. They were little bits and pieces that resembled what seances are today. So I can say from back in ancient and classical traditions, from like ancient Greece and Rome, they had practices resembling seances can be found in the necromancy, rituals used to summon spirits of the dead for guidance. I also know that there were biblical references of summoning spirits to get information about the future, about like a battle that was coming up. So they would actually summon the spirit of a prophet to tell them what was coming, which is funny because like they're not supposed to talk to the dead, and here they are, in Bible verses doing it. You had Roman necromancers that were doing these rituals to summon spirits, again, for prophecy or revenge. You had medieval and Renaissance Europe. There was communication with the dead that persisted in occult and magical traditions. Of course, the church condemned them as heretical. There were, the Sworn Book of, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm already going to get my drink ready because I'm going to butcher this. The Sworn Book of Honoris.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Would you agree or
Yeah, Honorius
Honorius? Okay,
Honorius.
I'll take a half a drink.
or Honorius.
Uh,
The H
What's the
yeah,
origin?
maybe.
Yeah, what is the origin? The Latin?
Let's see.
Renaissance.
It looks like it because it looks like Liber.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
I'm not even gonna try that.
Yeah.
That's the original name.
Yeah. Yoritus Honori.
Yo.
Wow.
Yo.
I think that's not pretty good. I don't
He's
know.
gonna do our magic spells from now on.
We found our new host.
Holy
No more next
So. Can you play piano?
It would be Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
There was a Renaissance magus named John Dee, 1527 to 1609. So that's going back a way. And his scryer, Edward Kelly, famously attempted to converse with angels and spirits through a crystal or a shoe stone, recording elaborate angelic communications. That's interesting. That's Renaissance times. Let's see, early modern and pre-spiritual practices. I don't have anything on that. I screwed that one up. 1600s, we have
Is that a
Yeah, I
mediumistic.
think you should drink on that one.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I didn't mess up a name. I just didn't have any information.
It's a mess up. Right?
Yeah,
Does that
you
count?
gotta screw it up.
Okay.
It counts.
Let's see. Mediumistic claims surfaced in religious and mystical circles, especially among radical Protestant sects and occult experimenters. For example, there was a Cambridge. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna ask you a lot.
You should have read this before.
Right?
Platonist,
Platonic.
Platonist,
Yes.
Henry Moore investigated reports of spirit communication in England. They gave the example of the drummer of Tedworth poltergeist case, which was an interesting case.
Are you taking questions yet?
No, especially not.
Especially from around the table.
Though not structured seances, these gatherings featured attempts to interpret spirit knockings and rappings. So I think a lot of these are not, again, they're not full-fledged seances, but they are giving us little pieces that I think later on were brought together for a seance. So that, like, if they're investigating knockings and rappings that happen in a house with an alleged poltergeist, that aspect of it was taken by the Fox sisters, because that's how they started, with the rappings and knockings on the wall, with, you know, blaming a peddler, the spirit of the peddler, and going on, and that's how they started the seances. Still no questions from me.
Okay, commenters, who wants me to ask a question?
And you're muted. I knew we should have had individual mics for everyone. Let's see. There were other writings. There was a Swedish scientist and mystic, Emanuel Swedenborg, 1688 to 1772. He claimed to regularly communicate with spirits and angels in the spirit world. His followers held meetings to discuss and sometimes attempt similar communication. So, very basic form of a seance. They were trying to reach out in group seances kind of thing. There was, let's see, Masonic lodges. They had secret societies like the Freemasons held ritual spirit convocations. Gatherings combined Christian mysticism, alchemy, and early spiritualism. One of the examples was the, why are all these names? Why did I pick these names? The Gold und Rosen Cruiser. I think so. Kreutzer?
Yeah, Rosenkreutzer.
I'm not even going to make it similar to the seance.
Okay, you put a choral musician next to you. Like, he's
Um,
gonna kill us.
18th century Germany performed meditative and ceremonial rituals aimed at communicating with invisible masters or departed sages. Their meetings featured candlelight, invocations, and meditative silence, elements later mirrored in spiritualist seances.
What year was that?
That was, well, no, this is saying that it's mirrored spiritualist seances. So these are aspects again that were taken. Davenport circles and European spirit experiments from the 1830s and 1840s. Small groups in France, Germany, and England met privately to experiment with table turning and automatic writing well before 1848. These table circles often began as parlor amusements, but evolved into serious attempts at contacting spirit. One early example was Baron. Read that.
No.
Oh, you're stumped.
Pass it down. Let's see.
No.
In bold.
It's French.
Oh, it's French.
Yeah.
That's Anthony's
That's
script.
my I have to think.
Baron de Pouet de Saint-Avoy.
There you go. That
Oh,
sounds
you just
good.
bullshitting your way.
You got it.
And it works.
Well, let's go
The
with that.
French magnetism described seances where a tranced subject communicated with spirits through knocks and gestures in the 1830s, striking similar to what the Fox sisters later made famous.
Could you speak up a little bit?
Oh, okay.
Oh, maybe you're blocking you.
Oh, maybe.
Is the mic on?
Yeah.
It should be on. Everybody can hear us, right? Let's see. Kenny, can you speak up a bit, please? Yeah. Okay.
Kenny needs to be a little louder.
A little louder. Okay, I'll try to be a little louder. All right, and that pretty much brings us up to the Fox sisters. So the last paragraph I have here is basically by the time the Fox sisters began reporting spirit rappings in 1848, the cultural groundwork had already been laid. The Fox sisters didn't invent the seance; they made it accessible, democratic, and media savvy in a way previous esoteric practitioners hadn't. I did that.
You did that pretty good.
Word.
You
Yeah,
practiced that.
I did. I totally did. I had Google, like, how's this pronounced? Esoteric. Okay, I got it. All right, so that's a real brief history, and please don't take any of this as like solid evidence. I did a real quick search on it, and I was just pretty much getting bullet points just to make a point that the Fox sisters were not the first ones to do a seance. So now I want to move on to Houdini and spiritualism.
Well, you know, Kenny, I'll just jump in, and that you've taught me something. I didn't know that people had the practice of speaking to the dead before the Fox sisters. So that was very interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's especially when you talk about the Bible and I won't get into religion. Don't worry, everyone. I'm not going to get into a religious debate or discussion here, but you can read several passages where I think Solomon was one of the people that consulted spirits. They called forth the spirit of a prophet in order to figure out if they were going to win a battle. So there's several examples of that. You can do a Google search and get the actual passages and then read them. It's interesting. And then so many people, when you look at these little circles and you see the elements of a seance and you see the evolution start taking shape until, again, the Fox sisters started it. And as far as I'm concerned, the Fox sisters started as a prank. I think they did it as a prank and it got away from them.
Yeah.
And that's what really made it accessible, because so many people could actually visit this location. It wasn't a private, like, rich thing where rich people were doing it in their big houses and they only had people that were invited. It was a common house. It was a simple house and people could visit, and lots of people did. And that's what made it so accessible to everyone. And it made it popular. So really interesting getting it. I mean, this is something I want to dive into.
This is fascinating on the comment. The Bible story is Saul.
Saul.
He visited the Witch of Endor, who then was summoned. Yeah, we just performed Saul in Massachusetts.
Oh,
That's
cool.
yeah.
It's
very interesting. There's several passages
Definitely.
that you can read through, and just it's interesting to read that they were summoning spirits, even though, as far as I was concerned, they weren't supposed to, and they did anyway. Which, that's what we do.
To ask my questions yet?
You can ask your question, and I will just ignore it anyway.
Well, okay. So, what exactly distinguishes contacting the dead from a seance? Is my first question. And then the second question is, were the Fox sisters aware of some of that background stuff in terms of how one would contact the dead, the knocks and raps, so that they could exploit that?
So the second question, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I mean, I didn't give that information. I don't know why they started it, because they didn't admit that it was a hoax until much later in life, years later. So I don't know.
They were making fortune.
Yeah, they made a lot of money until they admitted that it was a hoax. So that I don't know. I can't answer that second question. The first question is, what's the difference between communicating with spirits and a seance? I think it's the formal setting. And usually, as I understand it, this might be wrong, but as I understand it, a seance usually has a medium that's running it. It's gathered around a table with people, and there's usually objects like what we have on the table: a spirit trumpet, usually they had slate,
Food offering.
a food offering for the spirit, maybe the bells to ring. We don't have slates, and I don't, but I have a skeptical help board karaoke board right there, right in front.
There you go.
We have cake. We can bring cake.
The
Yeah.
cake down.
So I think that's the difference. Like just formal around the table in a room with a medium.
So where in that like sequential period of like contacting the dead would have seance have like ish?
I think when the Fox sisters started, they were seen as mediums. I think they were viewed as mediums because they were communicating, because they mastered the art of cracking their toe knuckles.
But that sounds like you just said that they did start the seance then.
That they what?
No,
It's-
they took bits and pieces and put it together to make that. But you remember what the word medium is. It's not, doesn't mean just somebody that contacts the dead. A medium is art mediums. You have this or this. That was just the interface to connect the dead people to.
They're in
other ones.
between. So again, the Fox sisters just made it popular. It made it popular for everyone, not just rich. Go ahead.
I have a question, maybe, because I don't know a whole lot about the Fox sisters. I know that they were contacting a very specific spirit in that house.
Mr.
They were
Split.
asking yes or no. And people would come and sit with them to see their powers. Did they start contacting could you come to the Fox sisters and say, can you contact my grandmother? Or was it always a demonstration of their ability to contact this one spirit of the house? Did they branch out?
Yeah, when they went on tour, they were doing that. They were reaching out to other spirits.
Okay, so it became we can talk to the dead in general. It went from specific to general.
And I think that's when more mediums that were still around, they became more popular.
Yeah.
And they started holding bigger shows and offering it to anyone. And because it spread. When you see, after the Fox sisters, they were really the catalyst that launched it into pop culture, I guess. Something like what we would consider viral today. And everyone could do it. Everyone wanted to do it now because now they knew about it. Before, it was more of an elite thing, I think. So again, I could be wrong. This is just what my opinion on it.
It's my understanding, and actually I'd like to know if anybody in the comments or with access to Google does any better, but I think the Fox sisters started contacting people other than that particular ghost in the house. Because neighbors were coming in to first talk to the spirit, but then just ask questions about their family that had passed. And then the family moved them to live with the older sister in Syracuse or Buffalo? Rochester. And there, like, the ghost claims weren't tied to the house at all.
Right, because the older sister became the manager and I think she saw the opportunity to make money, and then she took them on tour. And then so it wasn't associated with the house per se, except for the peddler. The peddler story, which has no actual evidence to back it up.
Yeah, there was no peddler.
But that was associated with the house. But when they moved out and went on tour, then it became any spirit. It was fair game. And again, you're just talking about knocks. That's pretty much all it was, just knocks that people would hear. There was no other form of communication. There was no things rising up. And that's again, I think that was the pivot point where people were doing it beforehand. It was kind of coming together to a seance. And then when the Fox sisters happened, mediums saw it and it became a game of let's one up each other. Because then you had spirit trumpet, you had ectoplasm, which is disgusting. I'm not getting into that. But you had that thing. You had
the cabinet
spirit.
shows.
Is that
What?
one
The cabinet shows.
The cabinet, spirit
Right.
cabinets, yeah.
Who's that?
Davenport
They had that
brothers.
spirit cabinet where the spirits were in there playing musical instruments and doing other things while both of their arms were outside the cabinet. They would
Stuff like
do all
that,
stuff.
yeah.
That was the spirits doing it.
And you had slates, you had slate
Bells.
writing, you had bells, you
Yeah.
had everything. People were trying to one up each other, and it became
Spirit photography.
yeah. Spirit photography. Oh my gosh, spirit photography. That's a whole. Houdini got into that too. But yeah, let's. So speaking of Houdini, he started out as an escape artist. He was well known for that. And jump in if I get something wrong, John. But amazing escape artist. And then in the later part of his life, he kind of pivoted to bringing in mediums into his show. And by bringing in mediums, I mean exposing medium. And this is my favorite person in this whole investigative process. He brought in investigators like Rose Mackenberg. Rose Mackenberg would go ahead of his shows to different cities, like 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance. And she would dress up as a lady in mourning, a rich person that was just all extravagant. She would, a common folk, she would stop at like the secondhand stores, get costumes for the local fashion. She would actually study all the people on the street as they're walking around, get the local fashion, collect items, go to the local medium and watch what they were doing. And because she was trained by Houdini, she was picking up the tricks that they were doing. She would report back to Houdini, who I believe would then incorporate the seance or the mediumship stuff into his act. So when you went to his show in that town, he was doing like the second or third act of his show was a recreation of that medium's seance. So he would do all the same tricks, the same exact tricks, and show people how it was done. So he was definitely someone that the spiritualists did not like because all the mediums were pretty much spiritualist mediums at the time.
He also used Rose and people like her to ambush mediums in the show because the mediums would come to the show, and Houdini would say, "I would like you to meet my assistant here. She came and visited you and gave you a false name and said she had 3 dead children, and you helped her contact. Well, her name is Rose Mackenberg. She's never been married. She's never had any children." And of course, the medium would immediately jump up and say, "I've never seen this woman in my life." And Houdini would say, and Rose would say, "I left a little mark on your windowsill. You can all go and look at it right now if you want." And so Houdini would send out these agents to have seances, gather all in the information, and then reveal it all. A big gotcha moment in the show, and the place would go nuts.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
And I expand a little bit for you, Kenny, is that most people do associate Houdini's activities with spiritualism later in his career when he was aggressively debunking. But his interest in spiritualism goes all the way back to the beginning of magic. I don't know if you're going to talk about that at all. He always had an interest in it because for two reasons. One, at the time, it's like, hey, what's going on in these spirit rooms? That's some cutting edge magic. He was sort of interested in that, but he was also always very interested in, is this real or not? He kind of, it was kind of twofold. And what's interesting is his escape act has a lot to do with spiritualism. He admired the Davenport brothers. He knew what was going on. The Davenport brothers were being tied up, put in a cabinet, and then the doors were closed and spirits would manifest and the doors would be open and they would still be tied up. Well, they were early escape artists. They were doing special road types. They were doing escapes. And Houdini looked at this and he says, you know what? That's an act. If you take the ghosts out of it, make it secular, what the hidden part of the act is actually the most appealing. So what if I did an act where someone ties me up and I escape? forget about the spirits. And so a lot of the things Houdini did was rooted in spiritualism. The little cabinet that he used to do his handcuffs escapes in, he called his ghost house. And all during his early career, there were some people that said, oh, he's using spirits. Oh, he's a medium, because his early escape act was very much inspired by what was going on in the seance rooms.
That's all.
He kind of, secularized it.
I love that. Yeah.
The hidden part was interesting. The escape part, he thought that's an act. So, and he was just interested in it his whole career. He there was a medium in Berlin, the flower medium. This she produced flowers for sitters, and she got arrested, and because they discovered all these flowers under her dress when they raided her, and it was a big trial in Berlin, and this is 1903, I think. And Houdini went to every day of that trial. So he was, when it comes to the 1920s, when Sir Arthur Conan Doyle gets involved, Houdini is able to say, I've been studying this for 30 years, so I have a level of expertise about this, and I would like to get in on the conversation. I think I can hold my own with Sir Oliver Lodge and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So it starts with a discussion, and then it becomes Houdini, well, I'm going to prove my point. I'm going to go out there, and if I can find the real thing, I will endorse this medium and be thrilled. But if I see that they're practicing tricks and I know all the tricks, I'm going to get them.
Right.
After Houdini died, didn't the spiritualists say that he actually was using spirits all along anyway?
They said that from the very beginning. There were always, there was a magazine, I think, called Light, a spiritualist magazine, and it talked about that Houdini was, well, he's actually a medium. He's doing all these tricks using the spirits. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle firmly believed that. Right. Doyle had a friend who said he was on stage when Houdini did the milk can, and he could feel Houdini dematerialize himself and come through the milk can. And Houdini always said, that's why he would say there's nothing supernatural about it, what I'm doing. But of course, the more he said that, the more people thought, I bet there maybe is something supernatural about it. So we sort of played with it, and some of his advertising kind of suggested that, he was dematerializing or there were spirits. So he played around with the idea.
He had a problem with Doyle. They had a friendship. They had a very much, I would almost say like Professor X and Magneto kind of a relationship. They were friends, but they were on opposite sides of this. And Doyle's wife claimed to be able to channel spirits, or I don't know, did she claim to be a full medium?
She did. She did. I don't think she gave seances like a Marjorie or something. I think it was strictly they had a spirit guide that they would contact, and it was strictly for her and Doyle. And sometimes, and the medium, what was the name of their guide? Darn it, I'm blocking it out. But she would contact this spirit guide, and sometimes it would be, to as a warning that the world is going to end, and so you must find more converts into spiritualism. And then sometimes the spirit would say, you know what, we really need new curtains. And Doyle would run out and get new curtains. So interesting.
So there did come an issue because Houdini and Doyle got together, and Doyle's wife offered to do a reading for Houdini concerning Houdini's mother. And can you talk about that quick?
Well, Houdini and Doyle, they met, it's a little late. This is 1922, and Houdini reached out to Doyle. Doyle was a big deal in the spiritualist world, and Houdini reached out to him because he was interested in finding the real thing, and he admired Doyle, and really they struck up a friendship discussing spiritualism. And Doyle said, you're right, there's a lot of fraud in it, but I'll send you to the real thing. And Houdini went to his mediums and found no, they were all fakes too. So they had a friendship, but there was a little bit of a strain with spiritualism, because Houdini would talk publicly about it being bogus, and Doyle would think, it's hard to remain friends with someone who is saying this about my religion. And it kind of came to a head when, Doyle's wife, they were on vacation together in Atlantic City, and Lady Doyle said, I'd like to try and contact your mother. which was very important to Houdini. And they had a seance, and Lady Doyle was an automatic writer. She wrote out the spirit communication and contacted Houdini's mother. And Houdini, thanked them, and the Doyles felt that they had a convert on their hands and that Houdini was moved, but Houdini continued to kind of talk about that he had never had a legitimate experience, and Doyle said, hey, I don't understand what's going on. You just had a legitimate experience. And Houdini said, you know what? I'm sorry, I should have said it at the time. There's problems. The messages were in English. My mother only spoke German. And that caused an extra level of strain. And also Houdini is getting hotter on the topic. And eventually it got to a point where just Doyle said, I can't be friends with someone who says this about something that means a lot to me. So boom, friendship over. And when the friendship is over, the gloves came off. And that's when Houdini became very aggressive. And then he started saying all kinds of things that Doyle was deluded and dangerous. And yeah. And then it really got wild.
Wait a minute. So Doyle broke off the friendship?
Doyle was the one who really broke off the friendship. I mean, it was strained. And what happened, it wasn't a big moment. Essentially, through all this, Doyle's getting more and more angry, and Houdini writes his book, A Magician Among the Spirits. And when Houdini writes that book and sends it to Doyle, Doyle never responds. So much of their friendship was a correspondence. And, sent him that book. Doyle never said another word, and that was the end of things.
Okay.
But it was very much Doyle saying, I can't be friends with someone that says these things about my religion.
Can I ask a question?
No. Just ask it. You just did. When you said, can I ask a question? That's a question.
How many of these, I know it's difficult to tell, but how many of these mediums, do you suppose, actually believed it, or were they frauds?
That's it. You got a fluffy thing floating around. You got some ectoplasm.
It's Harry. What's he doing?
Yeah, it's ectoplasm.
It's Harry.
Ectoplasm wants his dinner. Your question is interesting. Houdini said he thinks there are two kinds of mediums. It's those that are deluded, but they believe in what they're doing. And then there are those that are deliberate frauds. What percentage are which?
Right.
He never expressed an idea on that. But he thought that was the only two kinds.
I was thinking the same question. And if it's like table tipping and stuff, they've got to know they're frauds. But maybe if it's writing something out, they really think they're receiving some kind of message.
Right.
And then we talk about the Spiritualist Church later on in Lilydale. I know this for a fact that they would not allow physical mediums there for table tipping or any of that. So they made it more religious. So they pretty much banned them. So I'm just wondering if that's the same thing, that only the ones the psychic writings or things like that. But if you did table tipping, no, you can't do that here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not at Lily.
Not at Lilydale. They wouldn't let you be part of the spiritualist community there.
Okay.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I'm going to move on to Houdini's death. So Friday morning, October 22nd, in his dressing room at the Princess Theater in Montreal, Houdini was punched hard in the stomach by an excitable McGill student named J. Gordon Whitehead, who wanted to test the theory that Houdini was capable of withstanding hard blows to the abdomen. Houdini was already feeling unwell that day before this punch landed, and he felt worse the next day through the course, though of course he continued to perform because he was stubborn. I can relate. After his Saturday evening show, he could barely manage to change into his street clothes, but he had another engagement the next day in Detroit, so he boarded a night train as planned. The Detroit doctor who examined Harry in his dressing room in the Garrick Theater on Sunday afternoon determined that acute appendicitis was most likely to blame for Harry's abdominal pain and 102 fever. Instead of going to the hospital, as the doctor recommended, I can also relate, Harry told the theater manager that the show must go on because it was sold out. I did that last Friday when I was in pain. I was like, we got a show tonight.
That's the way Kenny's going out.
So he made it through his act just barely. I believe he passed out during the show at least once. He was revived and then continue the show because, we got shit to do. He refused to go to the hospital afterwards. Instead, he went to his hotel where the house physician took one look at him and called the hospital's chief of surgery and asked him to come to Houdini's suite. The surgeon arrived at 3 o'clock in the morning and told the magician to go straight to the hospital. But he telephoned his doctor in New York to ask for a second opinion. It wasn't until the next afternoon, Monday, October 25th, that he was operated on. The surgeon saw that at once that the patient's appendix had burst, spilling bacterial pus into the abdominal cavity, a condition known as
Peritonitis?
Peritonitis. Thank you. I don't have to
Wait, it's French.
In the days before antibiotics,
Peritonitis.
Yes, was basically a death sentence. So Houdini lived for another 6 days, dying early in the afternoon of Sunday, October 31st, 1926. Exactly 99 years ago.
How old was he at the time?
How, how old? 52?
52.
He was getting punched in the stomach, like a thing for him. Like,
So,
why would this person?
Can you comment on that?
What was the question?
What was getting hit in the stomach a thing for him? A punch in the stomach.
Boy, people argue about that because there's no real evidence of him doing that. But, he did a lot of those demonstrations of his strength. He loved to pick people up. He could pick anyone up. I mean, just boom. He had tremendous strength. So he would do things like feel my arms or pick people up. And so being punched in the stomach, it seems to fit in with that.
That would be him, yeah.
I'm a man.
I'm a manly man.
Hit me.
Oh,
I pick things up and put them down. That's what I do.
feel my arm.
I don't think that kind of stuff causes appendicitis.
Getting punched?
No, but he had appendicitis
he-
before that.
That's well, yeah,
Right.
he
I
probably
think
burst it.
As far as I
No, but
can
if you-
Well,
find,
that's the discussion and the argument that people have, because ultimately the doctors concluded that the punch caused the appendicitis. Pretty unusual. Traumatic appendicitis, pretty unusual.
right.
But if that's the case, it was an accident and the insurance pays off double indemnity. So people think maybe they were encouraged to do that diagnosis. We don't know. It's most likely that he did have appendicitis. It was developing, and the punch may have aggravated it. But the worst thing is that the punch caused him to ignore this pain in his stomach. Had that pain just materialized on its own, he would have gone to the hospital sooner. But he got punched in the stomach, so that's why it hurt. And he's used to working with pain, and so he ignored it for much too long. So the punch, that's the thing. Did he have it, or did the punch cause it? As the doctor said, that's sort of the thing that we don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. So now we can move on to the Houdini Séance. So after his passing, I'm going to read stuff off, and I'm going to totally give credit to you, John, and Wild About Harry, because I totally ripped this off from your site.
Good.
So the origins of the annual Houdini seances, as we've come to know them, do not really link back to Houdini or even Bess, but the group of magicians in Detroit in 1946. The general belief is that Bess Houdini held seances on the anniversary of her husband's death for 10 consecutive years. This was per an agreement made with Houdini on his deathbed. But even this 10-year compact is not as clear-cut as it seems. For starters, it does not appear that Bess held her seances on Halloween at all. The only Bess seances John Cox, the man on the screen, was able, because I didn't know if you were going to be here, so I put your name in there. Was able to uncover were held on April 18th, 1928, January 8th, 1929, and July 25th, 1935. In fact, all the formality and traditions of the Halloween Houdini Séance really come into existence in the promotional material hyping the final Houdini Séance of 1936, which in itself evolved from the original idea of being a séance that would try and contact Houdini. Thurston and Carter, other magicians, with all three widows in attendance at that final séance. The public Halloween Houdini séance, as we've come to know them, started with this last seance of 1936. For the next 10 years, the world seems largely devoid of Houdini seances. Bess and Ed Saint, who was Bess's manager and companion at the time, Bess and Ed Saint passed away, as others did in Houdini's inner circle. Then in 1946, a group of magicians in Detroit decided to hold a seance to mark the 10-year anniversary of the final seance. The seance was the idea of Carol Fox. Am I saying that right, John?
Yes.
Okay. A popular Detroit magician who would appear on the Ed Sullivan Show and become known as the King of Corn. I didn't make that up. That's what it says. Okay. Corn. I said corn. I want to make sure everyone, it's a K, corn. It was held in the basement of a downtown hotel where Fox operated his shop. His inner circle was made up of 13 men, and a 14th chair left empty for Houdini. A pair of handcuffs said to have been used by Houdini, and an autographed book and photo were placed on the table. Exactly at midnight, the men joined hands, and Robert Ungerwitter, another Detroit magician, called out to Houdini to show himself. After 5 minutes of silence, it was concluded that the test was unsuccessful and Houdini had not come through. As with the announcement of the seance itself, news of the unsuccessful attempt, together with a photo of 13 magicians, went national. As with the final seance of 1936, the Fox seance seemed to prove that Houdini seances, while unsuccessful in contacting Harry, were very successful in conjuring publicity. So that's the end of that.
Did I write that last line, or did you? That sounds too good for me.
That's from you. I stole everything from you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice turn of phrase.
That was good.
Yeah. Myself too. Yeah, I should add that. Yeah, I've not been able to find any public Houdini seance that Bessie did on Halloween. When she's done, the few that I find happened during different months. But it's not to say that she didn't do something private. I suspect that she did do some sort of a private sitting either with a medium or maybe just by herself meditating on Halloween. Then the final one, the 10-year, they turned it into kind of a spectacle. So we don't know what she did privately on Halloween.
Okay.
Would love to know.
I would love to know too. Now, can you talk a little bit? I know this is kind of putting you on the spot, but can you talk about the Arthur Ford involvement? Because been a big argument with me sometimes with people that are like, no, they proved that Houdini came back. So yeah, if you could comment, that would be awesome.
I've never written anything on my blog about Arthur Ford. I generally stay out of the Arthur Ford thing because it's such a quagmire. I don't know if everyone's aware, but a couple of years after Houdini died, and Bessie was open to any medium who can come with me with our code. Houdini and Bessie had a prearranged code, and the idea was if anyone could, don't come to me and say you've contacted my husband and he wants to tell me XYZ. We have a code and you need to deliver the code. Well, Arthur Ford delivered that code, and Bessie said, yes, that's the code. And then it kind of blew up in the tabloids that maybe it was a fraud, and it was a bad scene. Now I'm going to tell you what Doug Henning told a talk show host in the 1970s, and I had this tape recorded from TV. It was Dinah Shore or Mike Douglas or someone like that, but Doug Henning knew Houdini's Bessie's sister. And Doug Henning said, here's the story that the sister told me. What happened is that Bess and Arthur Ford got together. Arthur Ford was a Southern charmer. Bessie was very worried about money. They were both drinkers. And so they had a little romance and they had a little party and they got a little high one night. Doug Henning, I remember saying the word high, and then he was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that on TV. And so, they got it. And Arthur Ford said, hey, listen, why don't you give me the code? We'll do a seance. It'll be a big success. And then we will tour and you will never want for money or romance in your entire life. And Bessie said, okay. And she gave him the code. The next day, when she realized what she'd done, She tried to kill herself.
Oh.
And she said, I'm not going to do it. And Arthur said, Morphode said, yes, you are going to do it. If you look at photos of that seance, she's laying down with her wrists bandaged. And they had the seance and she said, okay. And they wrote up a nice little document saying, you know, I attest that this is the real thing. And she signed it. And then it kind of all got very, very messy. She pulled herself out of that situation. She got away from those people. She sobered up relatively, and she, you know, met a better man, Edward Saint, moved to California, and later said, there's never been a legitimate message to me from Houdini. So she didn't go into the details of Arthur Ford, and people argue, was she complicit? Maybe he kind of got it out of her in different ways. But that was the story that Doug Henning told on TV, which had just been told to him by his sister. And that always sort of stuck in my head as sounding like the story, you know, the real story.
Right. Oh, wow.
But there are still people that say, you know, no, that isn't. Houdini really did come back, and then Bess and the Catholic Church were all trying to cover it up after the fact. So there are Arthur Ford defenders who think that it really happened, and then, you know, after the fact, they're trying to say that it didn't. So yeah, it's quagmire.
All right. So we got through all the information that I really wanted to discuss. So is there any questions from anyone? I mean, we have Mr. John Cox, who is like an awesome Houdini guy here. So if you have any questions, this is the time to bring them up.
There were two questions.
We have 2 questions. Okay. Let's see.
May I?
Yep.
Yeah. How much time could Houdini devote to debunking spiritualism, considering how famous he became with his own stunt?
How much time could Houdini devote to debunking spiritualism, considering how famous he became with his own stunts? I mean, he would be too busy to debunk spiritualism because he was so involved with his own stuff. Houdini was amazing. I am stunned at how many things he was doing at once. Not only was he developing this tremendous career and these very difficult escapes, which required a lot of his attention, he was also building a library. He was also writing a column for a New York magazine. He was also developing his own magazine. He was also writing 2 books. Then, all of a sudden, hey, I'm publishing children's stories in the paper. He did so much. He was managing other acts. Somehow Houdini was able to multitask like nobody's business. And, you know, by that time, he absolutely was able to devote plenty of time to his spiritualist debunking, and eventually integrated it into his act. So it became part of his show. He was able to devote a lot of time to it. And by that time, you know, his regular act, his escapes, you know, that was he was able to do. He was doing this. He had been doing the same escape for years, so that was easy for him to do that.
And there was also the idea, like, he had people working for him. He had a team of investigators. Like,
he had teams, yeah. People call it, you know, Houdini's Secret Service. He had a whole group of people that he would send out, and they would report back. And no, he ran a whole little organization of information gatherers, and kept incredible files on everyone.
Right. So that
also had to defend himself against lawsuits constantly.
Right.
That was a big part of it.
I love it. I love it.
Maybe he had spirit helpers.
Oh yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he did have spirit help.
You know what I've heard, and I don't know where this comes from, but I hope it's true because I love it. That apparently he bought a barber shop, and the reason for is that that's where he would meet his agents. So he would go, you know, no one knew he owned this barber shop. He would go in, and the agent would sit in the other chair. And that's how he would communicate with his agents. Incognito was in this barber shop that he owned. I don't know if that's true. I've once heard that. That's awesome.
All right, Lady Doyle knew she was a fraud. Well, I guess if Lady Doyle knew she was a fraud, so why'd she do it anyway, do you think?
That is such an interesting question. That's really a question for a Conan Doyle expert. And I've asked the Conan Doyle experts, and they don't have an answer for that. Did she know she was a fraud? Did Doyle know that they were Houdini believed that they're deluded. They believe in absolutely in what they're doing. He didn't think they were deliberate frauds. He believed they were just so caught up in this movement that they believed what they were doing. So I go with Houdini's explanation that she would sit down with a pen and paper and feel it and begin to write, and said, yeah, it's coming from somewhere. It must be a spirit.
I agree. I mean, I think in my experience with mediums and psychics, that the ones that, if they know what I do, if they know that I'm skeptical, if they know that I'm paying attention more than normal client, they will, if they know they're deceiving the public, they refuse it. I've had plenty of people say, no, they're not going to read me. They're not going to do it. When I walked up to people, I've had other people pay for me ahead of time, and when I walked up, they're like, no, we're not. I'm not doing it. But if they don't know who you are, then they go along with it. But if they do know and they still go with it, I would think that they truly believe that they can do what they're claiming they can do.
Yeah.
Because they're. I mean, otherwise you would find an excuse, a way out, because especially when Houdini had this reputation of he went for the big ones, like the big spiritualist medium, and if they couldn't fool him, someone that doesn't do it professionally or for a living or anything like that certainly ain't going to have a chance.
Yeah.
So
I asked Jim Underdown that question at PsyCon. I asked him about what's the paranormal challenge he does.
The $500,000 challenge, the CFI ID.
Yeah, so I asked him how many people who enter that challenge are lying or think or believe it.
Yeah.
And he said they all believe it.
Yeah.
Because if they're willing to put themselves out like that, they really do believe it.
Yeah, especially for the challenge that we put out, because for the most part, you have to go to LA to take the test, and it's 2 tests.
Yeah.
So you have to pass the preliminary first. So you have to finance your own way to get there. Take the test, stay overnight, at least one night, and then go home. So it's an investment. And I think, for the people that I've seen, but we've been involved with the testing, they honestly believe
that they can
from
do what
people claiming they can move clouds across the sky to dowsers that can find anything as long as you tell them what it is. Like, they really believe it. And you see them go through, they go into the test. And I'm like, this is, I feel excited, but also very sad for them, because you have this, like, my Philly comes out in this. So I'm like, you're not gonna fucking do it. You're gonna totally fail. But then the other side of me is like, they so believe, and they're gonna be so disappointed. They're gonna be hurt. This is really gonna mess with their head, because it's not going to work, and they're not going to understand why. So I struggle back and forth with testing people like that, and that's why we make it a point, Jim and me and all of us, when we have someone that we're testing, you be polite, professional. You don't mock them. You don't laugh at them. You don't give them an attitude. It's when they inevitably fail the test, you talk to them. Like, we're all people here, and this didn't go as planned. Why do you think that? Let's talk about this. Let's try to figure out what might have went wrong, and then offer, again, politely and gently, alternative ideas, which are more based in logic and reason, and see if that, stinks or they can relate to that. And for the most part, well, no, I would say it's 50-50. Some walk away, like the dowser that we had the one year, he walked away, yeah, you're right. You got me. Like, I can't do what I thought I could do. I thought I could, I can't.
Half the people say that,
but
change their mind.
So yeah, they don't really change their mind. They're just like,
it didn't work.
It
didn't work, and then they're gone.
Oh.
But then the other half, like the cloud moving lady, she made excuses all the way through. It wasn't that she couldn't do it. It was because you were facing the wrong direction. And
the clouds weren't big enough.
the clouds had to be in front of the sun. And then she got mad when I said all the clouds are in front of the sun. No matter where you are, they're in front of the sun. So, and I didn't even, that was my Philly coming out. I didn't even say that. But, so yeah, I mean, a lot of people do really believe it. And it's,
I have a couple of other questions, just really quickly. First, I suppose,
one
how
question.
would we know if we contacted him?
Well, we should ask him a test question. That's what Houdini would do. Whenever I'm in a Houdini seance and the medium says, Harry is here, the medium makes the mistake of saying, does anyone want to ask anything? And, she expects, she or he expects someone to say, oh, Harry, are you happy? And what I always say is, anytime a medium told Houdini that he or she had contacted his mother, it was, I have to ask a test question. I need I need proof. I need evidence. So with Houdini, if he shows up and anytime he does, I say, no disrespect, but this is what Houdini would expect and demand. I need to ask test questions. And I would ask questions that only Houdini would know.
Okay.
And boy, they never get it. And they get it wildly wrong. So, that's what we do. We ask test questions. Ask him something only Houdini would know.
We're going to go to break. And when we come back from break, we're going to do our seance. I'm going to put my phone recorder, my audio recorder on my phone so we can record the whole session. But we're going to have spookiness, and we're going to have a quote unquote guest speaker. You'll see when we do it. Try to call forth Houdini, and we're going to have fun. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the seance. I hope so. And if you don't, I'm going to cry after this. Under the table in a fetal position. So, all right. Ready? So we're going to go to break, and we will see you in like 5 minutes. A longer break because there's more people here, and we all got to go to the bathroom. It's about a 5-minute little break there. So, see you in a couple minutes.
Bye, guys.
And now for something completely different.
Welcome my fellow skeptics, welcome one and all. I am the chief investigator. Oh, come along, old chap, we will have a ball. Now if you will excuse me, it's time to open the mic. Good night. Good night. Kenny Biddle's the name, investigating's my game, and I will have at it. Quid pro quo, as the head of this committee, hunting for ghosts can be shitty, but there is nothing better that I know. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright? Maybe you might find an answer or two. I will find the truth this night and day, and if my name is not Kenny Biddle, then I assure you here I will not stay. Good day! Kenny Biddle's the name, goes hunting's the game. I won't let anything get in my way. Too many fakers out there, too many chefs, too many toe tappers, none of it makes any sense. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright? Maybe you might find an answer or two. Who knows? There may be ghosts in the machine, but trust me, I am not so keen. I prefer to see these things clearly, not in 144p. I am a skeptic through and through.
Too late.
All right, we're almost there. Apparently, I didn't leave enough time for everyone to come downstairs, especially when they're talking and yapping. So, due to technical difficulties beyond our
Not
not yet.
Okay, all right.
Not yet.
Next Houdini Séance, 8 minutes.
Actually, before we get started, we can do the thing now.
Do what thing?
So,
Oh.
this is from Tina JT and somebody else. This is Tina JT sent that for you, and this is from somebody else, which is Damn It Bob.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you. You didn't have to send any birthday presents.
You're late.
I appreciate it.
So if you want to,
He was here.
Houdini, yeah.
You got him on camera, right?
Remember, in the 1920s, it took longer to go to the restroom. Okay.
Houdini doesn't have
It's the
paintings.
outhouse. Maybe he did. You don't know that.
I don't know that. You're right.
Oh my
Don't know where
gosh.
the keys were.
up there.
A gift from Tina. Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's full of rum cakes.
Yay!
The spirits are here.
Yes, we have maple pecan, pumpkin, s'more.
Are we back on?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, there's a big one.
Caramel apple.
Yeah.
Pineapple is my favorite, and dark chocolate.
I call
You
dibs.
rock. Wait, I say no. Isn't that what you told me last time?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
Damn it. Awesome. That's
Thank
awesome.
you guys. You're awesome.
We told you it was going to turn into down birthday
Ah.
celebration.
All right, let me
Okay.
put that over here.
And let me open this real quick.
You have the coolest birthday.
It's your birthday.
Oh,
Celebrate somewhere between just plain fun and regrettable tattoo.
Well, I think it's
And it's got a tattoo in it, like a
Okay.
temporary one. The happiest of birthdays, damn it, Bob. Life is better with a dog. You know it. I got a sticker for my car. Little Rummy. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so sweet.
all right. So let's get this seance started. Let's see if we can get Beanie. We're going to close the doors. So
Are you
Speedy,
ready?
we're going to turn out the light. We got some candles that are floating around, and I'm so excited! Yeah! We're gonna go to Spirit World long distance!
Crystal ball on.
All right. That was by Anthony. Dude, that was awesome. You were hired for like everything. Oh, and everyone, that was like a last minute kind of thing. Actually, like Tim Binga had made mention of, what if Anthony could play the organ that we have? And then separately, Anthony was like, hey, I don't mind playing the organ if you want. I was like,
We're
so
connected.
Vance and I brought down the organ, set it up in the corner so he could play it. Now he's playing awesome music. Okay, so
And he's so cute.
here we go. Here we go.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, our guest.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Did you get your candy out?
What's that?
Did you get your candy out?
I did.
Good.
Okay, good.
All right. So we are going to try to summon the spirit of Houdini. We have several items on the table. We have a spirit trumpet, which is on loan from the Buffalo Museum of Science.
Cool.
Because we reached out to them and asked if we could borrow one, and they kindly said yes. So we have it for 2 weeks, and I've been playing with it ever since. But
I'm watching it carefully. I told you I would.
that's okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll pick it up and show you guys.
I feel like this is an Anthony thing again.
So there's the Spirit
The
Museum,
spirit trumpet.
and it's even engraved. I don't know if you can see that.
Can you talk a little bit about the history of these, or what's the?
So, do you know better than I
Just
do?
these were used as implements within this. They put these for the spiritualists at the table for the spirits to talk through them. And what would happen is, because the hands were held on the table, so you couldn't be picked up, all of a sudden you'd hear a voice next to your head coming from the spirit trumpet. So it had to be a spirit. It didn't have to be somebody figuring out how to slip their hands out and talk to you through the
Right.
hands. So it was basically just a prop for the seance table.
There's a lot of stories about the trumpets being lifted up and hovering in the air. Keep in mind that seances were done in the dark, like nowhere near what you have here. Like we can see everything going on, but usually seances were done in complete darkness. So if you had a little bit of light, you had someone dressed all in black. If you had a black velvet kind of suit, they could walk out from behind a curtain and pick up the spirit trumpet and have it levitate. And it would look like, to everyone seated, they would see a glint of light off the horn, and it would look like it was levitating for them.
Additionally, this particular one has reflective tape in the end, which also was kind of glow in the darkish, so you could see that too. And you can see there's remnants of it still in there.
That's right. So we have that. I didn't have any slates. I have slates somewhere, I couldn't find them. So we have a karaoke style Ouija board, which is the Skeptical Help version, right in front, right next to the picture of Houdini. We have 2 bells. There's 1. There's 2. We have that. And I think that's all we have right now.
Creepy doll.
Oh, we have a creepy doll in the middle that has its own bell, which you saw in the opening credits, because I filmed that moving around. And
We have our food offering.
we have a food offering. So if Houdini likes cannoli,
Oh, and his diary.
and we have a. What is this? What is this, John?
What is it?
The book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is Houdini's very first travel diary when he was a struggling young magician. And it has been published as a book, and I have annotated it, and you have it in your hands. It's called Escaping Obscurity, the Travel Diary of Harry Houdini.
Yes. Do you need to switch the screens?
So we have his words.
Yeah. So I'm going to. All right. So now that we got all that,
Are you guys ready?
I'm going to switch the screen here so that most of us are in there. And now we are going to have a special
Everybody put your hands on
guest
the table.
announcer that's going to do it. They don't know that they're an announcer because they've been dead for quite a while. But we're gonna have the voice of Ed Saint, who conducted the very last Houdini Séance in 1936, and we're gonna have his plea to Houdini try to call out Houdini. So let's hear from Ed Saint.
O thou disembodied spirits, those of you that have grown old in the mysterious laws of spirit land, we greet thee. We have gathered here at the appointed time. We have complied with all the requirements to enable all of you to make your presence known. Members of the spirit world have long known of the intention of this important gathering tonight. All is in readiness. Please now, the time is at hand. Make yourself known to us. Any of you, please, manifest yourself in any way possible. Please let your united strength and knowledge aid Houdini in coming through. It is the spirit of Houdini we wish to contact. Houdini, are you here? Are you here, Houdini? Please manifest yourself in any way possible. Take from this earnest gathering any strength that may be necessary for you to use. Take any vital thing from us that you may need to enable you to carry out your promise of years ago. We have waited, Houdini, oh, so long. Never have you been able to present the evidence you promised. And now, this is a night of nights. The world is listening. Harry, your world, your audience. Harry, we are all seekers after truth. Please manifest yourself by speaking through the trumpet. Lift it. Lift it. Speak through it. Speak. Speak, Harry. We are watching and waiting, Harry. Levitate the table. Move it. Lift the table. Move it. Rap on it. Spell out a code, Harry. Please. Ring the bell. Let its tinkle be heard around the world. Do it, Harry. Please. Please, Houdini, we are waiting. By the love and esteem of the countless friends. The evidence, Harry. Houdini, you must come through. We are crying to high heaven, to the powers that be. We are crying in one mighty magnetic voice from every corner of the earth, and the hearts and minds of the multitudes are centered here tonight. We want the evidence, the truth, in the name of humanity and love. If there is communication from the great beyond, come through with the evidence. Houdini, you must come through.
Anything?
Do we have to ask the question?
All right, John, you want to ask some test questions?
Is Houdini here?
I don't know.
Houdini, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna Houdini. I'm trying to think of a yes or no question. Okay, I'm gonna ask one that I was gonna hold back. But Houdini, did you ever, yes or no, did you ever tell your brother Dash to grow a mustache? Was that a yes? If it's yes, move the trumpet. If it's no, move my book.
I hear a dog.
Making the dog bark was not one of the. Oh, I'm getting a trick or treater.
No.
It's Houdini at the door. He brought it in the wrong spot.
Oh, he makes
Maybe
phone
he
calls.
wants some candy. Do you like chocolate?
So anyone want to try? Anyone want to ask Houdini to try to move something? Anyone?
I like the test question idea. I don't know enough to ask the test question.
Well, we could just think, like, for instance, Houdini, you're here. We are skeptic. We're people that we also look at mediums. We expose mediums when we can. We do work that you were doing. You're here. Ring the bell. There's 2 bells. Ring one of them. Or both. You know, both would be cool. Especially if you pick them up and ring them. That would be really awesome. No, don't possess Melanie.
Say you'll quit tomorrow.
Put Kenny Bill out of a job. Put him out of our misery.
I mean, if any of this shit works, I'm going. I'm going to go back to working on cars.
Well, helicopters pay more, though, right?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Somebody says their lights turned red and there was a knock on the door.
Did they say trick or treat? If so,
I know.
here's a good explanation.
Houdini's hitting everybody else's house but us.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, this is the time. You can play Ghost Hunter. Anyone? Tim Redmon?
Houdini loved books. Houdini, can you make one of the books on the bookshelf there fall out?
Maybe not.
The librarian's like, yo.
Can you make one burst into flames?
Yeah.
Look, I think this would be worth
Find the rarest book, Houdini, and make it burst into flames.
As the librarian for the Center for Inquiry, I implore you to burn one of the books on the shelves.
But he loves books. Why would he burn them?
To prove he's here.
But he wouldn't do that.
Do one of the fraud books out here.
Just knock it off.
Don't burn it. I don't want
Your favorite book in this room. Knock it off the shelf.
Yeah. Have you read one of these books?
He wrote one of the books in here, actually.
Ah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Houdini, find the book that you wrote on the shelf and knock it off.
Bring it to the table.
Yeah.
BF 1543.h. Sorry.
Tim, there's a
Frickin'
number.
librarians.
They'll tell you where
all
it
the
is.
reference
I
numbers.
think you can tell them the reference number. It's still valid if you
Yeah,
book
okay.
moves.
Yeah.
It's close enough. It's Houdini, so it's the .h5.
Nerd. Yeah.
That's okay. That's hard.
Yeah.
Can we
Okay.
ask them, I don't know how to phrase it, but the question about, that a keyword that they had,
Yes.
and that whole scenario, does he know the truth of that situation? I don't know how to word that, but
Well, that could be a yes or no.
Oh, make it a yes or no. It is Houdini. Did you come back to Arthur Ford, or was he a fraud? Yes. Move the trumpet. Fraud.
Ring
Make
the
one of the candles go out.
I just took the wand away from Donna so she couldn't screw with the lights.
It's so not funny. That would have been so cool. I agree.
Over here plotting, like, oh, I can do that. Turn the lights out. I'm going to freak everyone the hell out. All right. Anyone else? Melanie?
I don't know if this is allowed, Houdini, but if Bess Houdini is out there and wants to make contact.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, they're both dead now. They cry together.
And Bess is famous for saying, even if I can come back, I won't.
Oh. You might want to change your voice.
Say if anybody is out there that
I
can
would
hear
come
us,
back. I would
ring
definitely
a bell.
come back
Yeah.
and haunt Penny.
Okay. Yeah.
There be shit going on.
Okay, Houdini. Would you like us to continue doing these seances in the future? If no, ring the bell. If yes, do nothing.
We're doing it next year.
Yeah!
Next year's is in 10.
100.
You
Yeah.
have to. It's
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
That sounds hopeful too. That music.
Yeah.
Paul, you want to ask anything? No.
I know he's done an
Good.
excellent job.
Vance? No. Amy? No. Anthony?
Anthony, you want to speak up?
No. You're just
No,
good with the
good.
music.
Do automatic
Okay.
playing with
Yeah,
an
he's
organ?
doing
Like, let
very well.
Houdini move you.
Let's see. Damn it, Bob says, I just got a text from Houdini. He said that he wants to talk about my car's extended warranty. Should I respond? Yes, make the Houdini picture dance. If no, knock the poster over. That was good. All right. I think, is everyone satisfied that we have not made contact?
yes.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm not going to do that.
Please.
Okay, so to sum up this Houdini seance, we are going to let Bess Houdini sum it up for us. Go ahead.
It is now my personal and positive belief that spirit communication in any form is impossible. I do not believe that ghosts or spirits exist. The Houdini shrine has burned for 10 years. I now reverently turns out the light. It is finished. Good night, Harry.
Good night, Harry.
Good night, Harry.
Good night, Bess.
All right.
Yeah, good night, Bess.
Yeah. So I'm kind of digging the mood, so I'm going to leave the lights off, if that's
Rest
okay.
in peace.
All right. So, what do you guys think? Like the rest of the show now, we have about a half hour. Are you good on time there, John?
I'm good. I'm going to turn on the lights, though, at least that light.
Okay.
Still a little spooky.
Do you want questions too?
Yeah, we can do some questions if we have some. Yeah.
There aren't any right yet. But...
Oh, okay. So you have a couple questions about the seance? You know, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll take a few of them. But otherwise,
how awesome is Edward saying? You know, I haven't listened to that in a long time. Fantastic. I'm so glad you played that.
Because when I was putting this together and I was like, you know what? Let me listen to I found the recording online and I listened to the record, and it, like the vinyl with the scratches and pops. I mean, that's classic. You can't beat it. Screw DVDs or you know all this. I love the vinyl, and when I heard his voice, I was getting pumped up. Just because I know he has like a background as a circus performer, so like he had that announcer voice, and he really he got the drama going, and like you almost want to be like, yeah, we're gonna talk Houdini tonight, bitches, yeah. And I was very pumped. So I was like, we have to use it. We have to use this because there's no way I could do that. I can't do a dramatic reading like that.
Yeah, it was great. That's how they did it back in 36.
I know.
They knew what they were doing.
Classic. So that was really good, and I do like ending it with the voice of Beth. You know, her final words at that final seance, and just, I mean, I relate to her words. It's sad, but true, you know, and at least as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I really like that. What about you guys? What do you think about tonight and getting together and doing it? Yeah, enjoyed it.
One of the interesting points I'm going to make, I've been involved in Center for Choir for 20-some years. Anyway,
you're old.
We used to do something similar with Joe Nickel back in the old days, and as we went along, it diminished. It started out with having events, then it cut back to podcasts and other things like that. Eventually, I think the last year he wrote a poem, and that was the Houdini Séance for the year, right. Because not a lot of other people had interest. But I think this kind of rekindles it. I like to do this to rekindle the idea of Houdini and what he did, and it really is a good spotlight for the stuff that we're doing. So that's why I thought this was a really good event for that.
Right. I agree. I think it was fun. You know, like I'm always in the skeptical mindset. You know, I'm always looking at these things and debunking claims and all that. And it's nice this is almost when you watch a movie and you suspend your disbelief and you just enjoy it. And this is what tonight was. We got to talk about someone that I do consider like a hero of mine and learn some more. Got to talk about with John up there and learn a little bit more about Houdini as well, and just have fun doing it. Like I was in the moment, so it wasn't like I was just like waiting. Like we're not doing it. You know, nothing's happening. It's going to be a waste of time. I'm just going to have a couple minutes where I'll close my eyes and wait till okay. There's 30 seconds. We're done. It was fun. I was into it, and as I always say, like I'm open-minded to it. So I was really hoping. I mean, I'm looking back and forth, going, "Yeah, there's a trumpet, there's a doll, there's bells. Like, what else? There's a cake. Oh yeah, I want that cake." But then I'm like, "Is anything going to move? Maybe something will move." And I was waiting, and then I was waiting for Donna to actually kick the table.
Yeah. I wanted so bad. I wanted to hit the candle. I wanted to hit the light.
I mean, it wasn't like I was just totally against it. I was hoping that something would happen.
Everybody's playing for a round here.
You know, we thought about a round table, but considering how many people we were going to have, it's easier to get everyone in the shot like this so that you guys can see all of us here. Because if we're in a round table, it's not going to fit us all around that table because we need the front open so that you guys can see all of us. If not, we'd have 2 people or 3 people right in front, and it would be blocking the view of a lot of it. So
Here's a question for
yeah, go ahead.
Our guest.
Any truth to the notion that a paid goon from one of his debunked mediums was the one to punch him leading to the appendix bursting?
No evidence of that. I know people have suggested it, and Whitehead was interested in spiritualism. He had some mental problems. He died a hoarder, but no evidence that he was a paid goon. I think he was sort of an odd guy, just sort of an oddball.
Okay. I like how John's lighting like matches our ambiance. I love that.
Here's another one.
According to people who run seances, do they believe that there is a time frame where a spirit may respond after their death? 10 years, 100 years? There is no time frame in their mind. All asking questions. So, from my experience, people have tried to contact the deceased hours after they died. You got a gentleman that I won't mention his name, but most of you watching probably know who it is, and that tries to contact celebrities like as soon as he hears that they passed away. Like as soon as he news comes across, he is on a modified radio piece of shit thing that he uses.
Close to the earth.
That's
why I'm making
a couple weeks later, they're real close to the earth.
Go to the light. No, wait a second. Somebody's calling. Yeah. Stay away from the light. Come back.
Just for a conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's people that do it minutes or hours, and then there's no time limit because you have most of the people that I hear trying to contact ghosts, they are contacting spirits from 100 years ago, plus or minus, like decades, and there really is no time limit. So it's pretty much if they think a ghost is in the house, they try to contact them. It doesn't matter how long ago they died.
Right. I think it was just like a deal between Houdini and Best to do it for 10 years. That's where that question is.
Right.
Is there I this is my ignorance, but do they have any kids?
No
kids.
Was there like any like teacher apprentice sort of relationship where like does the legacy of Houdini live on in any way in modern times for the Kings or real relationship?
Yeah, he had brothers, and Bessie also had a lot of sisters. So there is family on both Houdini's brother's side and Bessie's side.
That's cool.
So there's no direct because they didn't have kids, but there are people that around today that are part of the Houdini family.
Yeah, one of them. What was his nephew, great nephew, or something?
George Hardin.
Yeah.
George's grandfather was his brother, Hardin. And George is great. George is a great guy.
Cool.
He's the most active, probably, person on the Weiss side.
Okay. Any more questions?
There aren't any. Oh, well, yeah, there's one.
There's one? Okay.
I thought we could save it till later, but
Estona had a nice birthday.
Yeah, this is excellent.
Absolutely.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Yes.
So Kenny, like, because I know you table tip and you do all these incredible things, debunking stuff. But when they were doing these seances, you had people cracking their toe knuckles and stuff like that. Rapping on the table. So I learned about this horn levitating, table tipping, the ectoplasma, all that stuff, right? So was most of it just because it said in the pitch black, and then they'd have people come out and lift these things? Right. Was there sleight of hand stuff, like the table stuff? A mix of all of it?
I know there was a picture of Houdini with, he was doing a seance, and you showed the outside of the picture, that like you and I would be sitting here, and he had a bell under the table with his foot, and you could see it from the side. So he could sit here and just ring the bell, and you wouldn't know. And we're going to be doing that like for a little,
Right. Okay.
That's a famous picture.
Under the cover of darkness, there's so much you can do. Imagine if you could take a felt, black felt, and you made a full suit body, and it's dark. I mean, if you look at the screen, if we look around here, we can see each other. If you look at the screen, you can see everything. But if we actually turn the lights out, and ooh, that must be Houdini. I mean, I'm not going to do it because I would have to turn out the LED panels and stuff like that. But it would be pitch black, and you could barely see. You might be able to see like a little light coming from the window, but that's it. So it was dark. So you could have someone that comes out from behind a curtain and standing over here and just going like that, just touching. And then somebody would be like, I feel it. But by the time you touch your head, I'm gone.
And breath on the back.
Breath on the back. Or just coming over and just knocking, or just.
Did they do that at the Fox Sisters stuff?
The Fox Sisters were mostly on the knuckle, the toe knuckle.
So they didn't involve the
They did not do that. They didn't do this whole elaborate setup. They just did the knocking.
It was just communication. Yeah.
But you could open books. You could, and again, there were smaller tables. We have a big table here. There's a lot of people. You could pick up the spirit horn because it was easier to reach. I could reach between people, pick it up, and have it float, and then drop it. Or put it up in my mouth and talk. And it sounds like the voice would be coming from the center of the table. And go ahead.
One of Marjorie's tricks, Marjorie was a very famous medium, and one of her tricks in the dark is they would have a large trumpet, almost like a dunce cap, in the center of the table, and the lights would go out, and everyone would be holding hands. Very important to hold hands because that's control, to make sure that the medium isn't doing anything. Well, Houdini would be on one side of Marjorie holding her hand, and then Marjorie's husband would be on the other side holding her hand. And so when the lights went off, what would happen is the husband would release her hand. She would grab the trumpet and put it on her head like a dunce cap, get back control. And then she would, in this course of the seance, said, the trumpet is floating in the air. Houdini, where would you like me to throw the trumpet? And Houdini would say, towards me. And so she would flick her head and the trumpet would fly towards him. And in the dark, that seemed very startling. Right. And actually a nice piece of stage art craft,
there were a lot of hurt. Yeah.
And apparently you have to have a dark room for ghosts to come back. But there was such a thing as red light seances that they did back then. Apparently ghosts need a dark room, but red light is okay. And so sometimes you would go to a red light seance in which there would be a red light on. And so you could see everybody. And that would just have to be different types of tricks.
But also remember that at the time, we're talking like 1920s, 1930s, it's not like bright LEDs that we have now. They were just light bulbs or they were candles with a filter on top of it. So it wasn't a lot. You might be able to see the front of my face or the front of everyone's face, but that's it. Outside of that circle, you couldn't see. The light wouldn't make it out there. So you could still walk around in a black suit and manipulate somebody's thing if that's the way they did it. And then other things like using your feet to do it. I know Houdini caught several people doing that. I think Marjorie was one of them, about flexing her leg muscle because she was using her feet to actually pick up stuff or make things happen. So yeah, there were a lot of tricks. And it really comes back to having a magician, especially someone that's an escape artist that knows how to do all these tricks, because they can relate to it. They can recognize what they're seeing. and it's important to have somebody like that. We always talk about science and testing scientifically, but you can have some of the smartest scientists in the room. They're not trained in the art of deception, so they're not always going to pick it up. They're not going to pick up those tricks because it's not within their education and expertise. So it's important to have a got a question? How did his upbringing influence his fascination of magic and escape act? By the way, happy birthday, Donna, from Michael Berkey. Great show, Kenny. Thank you. You could probably take that better, Don.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had a tough upbringing. They kind of fell into poverty not long after they came to the U.S. And as a very young man, he had to go out and work, and he had interests, all kinds of interests. And he read a magic book and became fascinated with magic, like a lot of young people do. But magic was also a way that one could make a living, and actually a very good living. There were some famous magicians at the time. So as far as a path that he could take that could bring riches to his struggling family, especially to his mother, it influenced him in that way. He had a lot of interest: athletics, acrobatics. And so I would just say, his tough upbringing, having to work hard for a living, finding a way to provide for his family. You could do it in show business if you were good enough and worked hard enough and got lucky. And that was the path he tried.
Awesome. Cool.
It seems to me it is significantly easier to find skills with people than it is with people who are connected to people.
Yes, it's probably much more profitable.
It not only much more profitable, it's easier.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, kudos to him for having the kind of
Chutzpah.
to use his talents for good, right? Because he could have just as easily used them for making serious bang.
He could have used his powers for evil, but he chose good.
Yeah. So that means he's a superhero.
Like Professor X, right?
Yes.
Not
Hey, Diana. Diana asked, how did they do the ectoplasm? Damn it, Diana. I'm sorry, that's Bob's thing. What the hell, Diana? So the ectoplasm, as I know it, and I've made some, I've used cheesecloth and egg white. So you dip the cheese, you rip it up, you tear it up, and you dip it to egg white, and then you can use it immediately, which is messy, or you can let it dry. And if it dries overnight, then you can shape it, and then it's just a matter of having it hidden like under the table or behind a curtain. And when the lights go out, you reach over, you grab it, stick it in your mouth or other orifices, and you quickly turn on like the red light or something like that, or someone takes a picture, and then you capture this scene where this kind of mushy kind of material is coming out of like your mouth or your ear. And mind you, I'm gonna try to keep this as not gross as possible, but most of the mediums were female, so they had an extra area where stuff could come out, and usually that's where it would come out. A lot of times it would come out the mouth or the nose, but many times it would come out of that area. And it was.
It's a lot of petticoats down there too.
Exactly.
Because I know a lot of times when they tested medium, there were some tests where the medium was one of the restrictions was that they had to be searched, and they would be searched naked because they wanted to make sure that there was no hidden thing, because that's where some of this ectoplasm was hidden, and then it would be brought forth.
Sorry, I is.
You're getting it. So people, what's surprising to me is that there are still mediums today.
It's Houdini.
You're playing with a wand. There's still mediums today that use that claim that they have ectoplasm coming out.
I seem to remember there were some photos of like some of the mediums they did in the dark where they would almost appear with a, like the ectoplasm would appear as a face, and they would have pictures and things on it too, because it would appear that it was some kind of ether coming out of the
Right. And they were usually, they had photographs printed of certain people, and they would cut them out and set them inside the gooey mesh of the cheesecloth and egg white, and it would dry so that when it was set up and everything was dark, they would say, all right, we're going to take a picture of it. And they would, all right, they put it there, and they'd have it like coming out their mouth and kind of holding it up like this, and they would take a picture. And of course it was a flash bulb that went off. It was, everyone was accustomed to the dark, so that bright flash blinded everyone. You really didn't see anything except like this kind of after image of white stuff coming out of somebody's mouth. And then when you looked at the final image, it was this white ectoplasm coming out with a photograph. And back then, in early photography, like people thought that was real. If you look at those pictures now, I think almost any one of us could see that it's a photograph. It's not actually like a spirit manifestation or a 3D image. It is a 2D printed image. And that's just because our knowledge of photography has advanced so far. Pretty much everyone has the skill.
This wasn't a Q question, but I thought it was a good one.
I can put my glasses on. I can't see it. Did Bess believe in debunking, or did she not care? John?
Well, she never did any debunking herself. You know, she followed Houdini's lead in all things. That's a really good question. She never really expressed a strong opinion during her life. Okay. But after he died, and she did, you know, like Houdini, give it a try. She became pretty hard on the topic. Just very much. You heard what she said on that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's possible.
Right.
And you know, she was almost a little bit harder on it than Houdini ever was.
Yeah, it sounded like that. Because it was just basically like, no, I don't believe, that's it. And she didn't speak of it anymore. You can't find like too much of her or any of her talking about it.
Yeah. Well, it was, and she had a good way of proving it. She said, if anyone would have come back, it would have been Houdini, and he would have come back to me, and he never did. And after 10 years, you know, there's my answer. It can't happen.
Right.
The end. And so that was pretty concrete.
Pretty solid. All right. Anything else?
No more questions.
No more questions? All right.
Unless they can't just come through like that.
Maybe they have a bad connection. Maybe
better. Yeah.
You know, well,
Beetlejuice.
All right, so
Beetlejuice.
Next year with the 100th anniversary, then that's our year. If it's not then
that's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
You're like,
but there's still hope.
What about the 1,000 or the 250,000?
Right.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
You know what? I'll come back for that.
Houdini won't be back, but you'll be back.
I will be back.
all right. So let's, I guess we can wrap this up because we did everything we could. Let me bring John a little bit bigger there so we can see him. So, John, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. What a great way to spend Halloween.
Yeah, it was fun, and having you and your knowledge of this was just it made it that much better because it was just I always have questions. I always learn something new from you or reading your website and your posts and stuff. So it was an honor for me to have you join us tonight. So thank you.
Thank you guys.
For everyone here, thank you guys for hanging out and participating in this and enjoying, having fun with it, going with it and enjoying it. Thank you, Anthony, for the awesome music. Here we go.
And thank you guys for being here because
Birthday.
Happy
birthday.
Happy
birthday to you.
And just in case, if Eric behind the wall and EC are watching, happy birthday to EC too.
Yes.
Happy birthday, EC.
Thank you, Tim,
And it's
for
Bonnie's birthday.
doing the monitor duty,
No
producer
problem.
duties.
I had to watch the room,
appreciate that.
so.
Yeah. Taking care of the comments and making sure everything was working out and playing all the stuff in the background so that we were freed up to actually do this and so that Donna could actually
Take
be a
her
part of
birthday
this.
off. I did it for Donna's birthday, okay?
Thank you,
Yay.
Tim. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is the first and last time until next year that you'll see Donna on.
Well, they said we're too far away, so next year we might have to.
Well, that's all in the plan. Yeah, we're easy.
Closer
Baby steps.
every year, yeah.
Yeah, baby steps.
Maybe we'll be on the other end.
Okay.
Yeah, next time.
On
We'll
the
see.
stage, a big audience, we got a room.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it next year on the stage in the
Ooh, we
lecture
could have a
hall.
live audience.
And they could bring all the subscribers in, as was mentioned in the.
Yes.
here,
Yeah,
too.
live
I mean, so
audience.
what do you
For
guys
the 100th?
what do you guys think? Like, I wanted to make this like a very cool like invitation only kind of thing. So John, you are always welcome if you can make it to Buffalo. You will always have a seat here. No matter what.
Right next to Houdini.
Right next to but yeah, we might run. Maybe we'll run a contest. Maybe but travel expenses are on you. If you win a seat here, you'd have to get here yourself because I don't have that in my budget. But I think that would be fun to have, like, not only subscribers, but like maybe a couple of the members, if you can make it out.
Yeah, we can have like
we
a
can
live.
work out something where you can get here and be part of this.
That would be kind of cool.
I think that would be a lot of fun. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. And John, stick around if you don't mind till after the outro video.
Okay.
And everyone else, well, you're just stuck here with me, so you're not going anywhere.
We're gonna have cake.
We're going to have cake. We're going to celebrate Donna's birthday a little bit more. And everyone else, have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Be safe, be kind to each other, and remember, never stop learning. And we will see you next week. So up top and
Bye,
there it
guys.
is. And up top, up top,
Keep
up
going.
top,
Keep going.
all the way up top.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. With that, now
Now.
the next one with the
Bye,
outro.
guys.
Play
There
out.
Hey diddle diddle, here's a little riddle. Who's the best debunker? Is it Kenny Biddle? Oh, he's good, not just a little. Not at the bottom or even the middle. Strike a chord like a fiddle. Tasting the rainbow like a skittle. That's fragile and brittle. You can watch him take a problem and start to riddle the problem away. He does not play. He takes his job so seriously. He loves a challenge and won't turn you away. He's such a skeptic, he keeps those believers exposing the fake. It wouldn't take him long to find a needle in hay. Use a magnet, damn it. Now take a drink of Kenny's specialty. Someone may say that's not for me. To each their own, it will be. Man, Kenny's such a skeptic, drinking skeptical tea. Like and subscribe, everybody turn notifications on. And go watch his show and forget about this song. Mr. Wizard or Bill Nye the Science Guy. Can you remember? You like Kenny better, so head to the Skeptical Help Bar and meet the bartender. Pick up a drink and relax, cause nobody does this better. Not even close, not even a little. He's the one and only Kenny Biddle.